The Tennessee Volunteers are SEC tournament champions as they take down LSU. Hold on for dear life in the ninth inning, capturing a 4-3 victory for their second SEC tournament title in a span of 3 years. Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Phillips. He's Harrison Fant. We are here live reacting to everything that just took place. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Check us out where you get podcasts. Follow across social media as well as our website. You can check us out at SECUnfiltered.com. And, of course, as always, we're brought to you by our friends over at Prize Picks. Guys, download the Prize Picks app or go to prizepicks.com and use promo code SECU for a first deposit match of up to $100. Again, that's Prize Picks, promo code SECU to get that first deposit match today. Once again, guys, we are here because, Rocky Top, the Tennessee Volunteers, what a week it was in Hoover, Alabama, but Tennessee stands tall amongst the rest. They are SEC tournament champions. And again, guys, as always, on the windup, which we can essentially call this the windup, the SEC title game reaction to, or the wind-up's reaction to that, whatever. My brain scrambled from the madness in Hoover the last couple of days. I bring in my good friend, Harrison Fant, is what I'm trying to say. Harrison, what's going on, my man? What a game it was. Before I let you go, by the way, because Tennessee won, I want to shout out the fine folks in Knoxville. I'm doing this because I'm congratulating each and every single one of you, and one of your very own took care of me and hooked me up. Bad Day Hat Company. My man at Bad Day Hat Company sent me this hat, a piece for the studio, and maybe or maybe not a piece to rock in the fall this year when we go to a game. Boom. In honor of Tennessee, that's a fresh lid, my friend. And I know it looks even better for the folks in Knoxville after they win this ball game. They win the SEC tournament title. Tony Vitello brings another one back to Knoxville. Harrison, you tired yet, man? What a week it was in Hoover. What a title game there as LSU tried to come back late and get some more voodoo magic, it seemed, yet again.
Yeah, Chris, it was an unbelievable week and awesome time and experience in Hoover for me at the SEC tournament, my first time there, and just the hospitality from the LSU fans. The fans of every team showed out, it felt like, almost. And it was an unbelievable experience. It felt like every game was a super regional atmosphere. It came down to one big swing, one big play, one big pitch, and I'm not sure you can ask for more than that in a conference tournament, let alone the SEC.
And I want to point out, by the way, Harrison, that neither one of us had Tennessee winning the whole thing. You had Tennessee in the title game, though, I think, right or no? Who did you have?
I believe, no, I had them losing to Kentucky, and then Kentucky losing to A&M.
Okay, got it.
I couldn't be the guy that picked the number one overall seed to win it all.
Well, you know, I'm not patting myself in the back for this, but I did have Tennessee in the semifinal. I had Tennessee in the semifinal losing to Mississippi State. So I had them close, and I think I told you if it wasn't going to be State, I would have went with Tennessee. But you're right.
Well,
you don't want to go
LSU as the upset pick, though.
I did a couple times. You know what's funny, though? LSU fans gave me hell because I think I picked them to lose to Kentucky, even though I had them going deep, bouncing back, winning. They still gave me hell for that. It's all good. Either way, though, man, Tennessee.
Got the SEC tournament cup here.
I love that. This kind of reminds me, Harrison, of 2 years ago, to where this Tennessee team is much different for sure, but we came into the tournament, and there's some years that, I mean, this year, man, it could have been the first time ever, I believe, that a team, a seed outside of, the top 4 won the whole thing. I don't think that's ever happened before, at least in the modern era. Could have been the first time ever. LSU with a great run, man. But it reminds me of 2 years ago from the standpoint of sometimes you just can't overthink it. And Tennessee, 9 straight series wins, obviously, to close out SEC play. You think about all they accomplished this year. Our good friends over at Channel Tennessee, who do a great job, they highlighted SEC regular season champions, SEC tournament champions, SEC East champions. They have the Triple Crown winner, the number 1 team in the country. They're number 1, I believe, in RPI, number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament, most likely, and 50 wins. They have 50 wins already. So you think about what Tony Vitello's club has done. And again, I know I'm looking at the big picture. We're going to zero in on the game here in just a second, but it's one of those things, Harrison, we're like, I don't think either one of us are surprised Tennessee's hoisting the trophy. Like, they were one of the best teams, if not the best team in the SEC, really from start to finish this year. And they will be deservedly so looked at as a favorite to not only reach Omaha, but potentially win the whole thing. I don't think we should be surprised at all what happened.
Yeah, not at all, Chris. And just the depth that they have in the lineup and depth that they have on the mound, it's no surprise at all. Some of the best talent of any team compiled together in the country, let alone the SEC, and they proved it this week in Hoover.
Harrison, let's zero in on this game specifically. Tennessee takes down LSU 4-3. The Tigers scored 2 in the bottom of the ninth. It looked like LSU was going to do it again. And when we think about Harrison, their path to get here, I almost kind of feel like this is taking nothing away from Tennessee, by the way, but it's almost like I felt like LSU maybe ran out of a little bit of gas just because of the ways they were winning. These crazy comebacks against South Carolina. And it's like this team, they were down 2 or 3 runs going to the 8th inning. And I mean, I knew, I was like, okay, they're about to cut it on. This is when they're going to cut it on. Sure enough, we get to the 9th. Hayden Travinski starts it off with that double. What was it? 3 straight doubles, I think, makes it a 1-run game. Then, of course, Tennessee locks down. But so many things to take away from this title game, Harrison. I really jumped to, outside of the LSU late comeback, Tennessee's pitching has been the story all year long. I know LSU scores 1 off the Bear Jones homer in the first, which was a monster shot, by the way.
471 feet, 114 miles an hour.
Right. Crazy. He had 4. I don't know if let's see. I think he had 1. So he finishes the SEC tournament with 4 hits, all 4 bombs. So that's what he does.
And one of them was a grand slam.
Yeah, one was a grand slam. So LSU gets that solo shot in the first. Outside of that, Harrison, I mean, Tennessee's pitching, you look at where they rank nationally, they're top 5 nationally when it comes to ERA. A.J. Russell only goes an inning. It looks like he's okay, right? I know that was concern early on. I feel like the story of this one for Tennessee, Harrison's Dylan Loy, the lefty, the freshman. He comes in, gives him 4 2/3, 2 hits, no runs, no earned, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. And to be that bridge guy there, and when he came in, the guys on the broadcast said, hey, he could probably give you 3 or 4, whatever. 4 2/3 shutout. That really was the difference in this game, Harrison, where it was kind of that, okay, is this going to be a Johnny Holstaff day? And I believe, I don't know the exact stats, but he had only had like a couple of appearances in SEC play, and that's sort of the beauty of the SEC tournament is you get a guy like Loy who obviously has high-end talent, hasn't gotten a ton of opportunities because there's other guys in front of him. But other guys have got to step up in tournament play and in postseason play. And, man, what Lloyd did was special. It was really, really special today.
Yeah, Chris, and that's exactly where I would have started it too, just with Lloyd. And he's only had 2 appearances as SEC play. At Florida, he threw a third of an inning, so that's 1 out. And then versus Vanderbilt, he threw a third of an inning and let up 1 run on 2 hits. But other than that, it's just been non-conference kind of reliefs and kind of 2-3 inning reliefs, except for early season, some 1 inning reliefs. But he was talk about a freshman stepping up in a massive way on one of the biggest stages of the season. Just unbelievable. Pat on the back. I mean, that builds a lot of confidence in himself, but also further in the team in just the depth they have in the bullpen and Tony Vitello using the right guys at the right time.
What do you like about Loy's arsenal, by the way, Harrison? Again, you're a lefty yourself, former pitcher. What did you see from Loy specifically? I mean, again, the high-end talent is there, but I mean, it's a really good LSU lineup, and he stifled them all day.
Yeah, Chris. I mean, a lefty is always special in my mind, just my history of being a lefty as well. And, I love watching a lefty pitch. But, I mean, I don't think it was really anything overpowering. It was just keeping hitters off balance for the most part and doing a good job of doing that, mixing up pitches and not letting them get comfortable. And, I mean, it wasn't anything overpowering. It wasn't like he's throwing 98, 96 with just, a 95-mile-an-hour sinker, absolute 12-6 dagger. It was pitcher really pitching beyond like what, it was a pitcher pitching, not throwing is the thing.
I think you can say the same thing, Harrison, about Kirby Cannell, because they were talking about, again, this on the broadcast, but he's not overpowering. Kirby Cannell kind of reminds me of like your old school pitcher where he's truly pitching. The stuff's not overpowering, but it dances a lot.
Slider,
he does. I mean, but it's frustrating because it's not like he's blowing it by you 100 and you just tip your cap and say, hey, it's 100 miles an hour, whatever it is, what it is. It's super frustrating because it's not overwhelming velocity, but it moves so much. It's never where you think it's going to be when you swing the bat and you get the barrel to that spot. And so, Kirby Cannell was fantastic in relief as well. And I mean, give credit
to mustache. Raleigh
The
fingers
I think
mustache.
the mustache is probably what did it for him. He's been doing it all year.
That's an
Give
extra
credit,
mile an hour too, for sure.
no doubt. Give credit to Combs as well, man, for coming in, shutting it down. A very uncomfortable situation with an LSU team that had just had, multiple comebacks in a row where, they're scoring runs late, winning games late. You got a man on second, 1-run ball game, 2 outs. He's able to shut it down, get the strikeout. The moment that I thought this game changed, Heberson, bases loaded, back pick to first base. I mean, that was the game. I mean, I think that for the
changed the
most
momentum of the
part
game entirely.
And it was just one of those things where, again, like, both these clubs are running on fumes. So it's one of those things where it's like, who's going to continue to get those pick-me-ups? It's going to keep them going. And, I mean, bro, you leave the bases loaded and it ends that way. It's just really hard to come back from that.
Yeah, Chris. I'm curious to see who kind of initiated that, because it could have been Cal Stark, the catcher. It could have been, Tony or someone from the dugout. But that's something they definitely work on in practice.
It's a great
I know
play.
we worked on that when I was in college.
Yeah.
I mean, that you work on those just going through PFPs and, throw downs to second, third, first on some back picks, a couple. But the timing of that in the throw from Cal Stark was on the money. The timing of where Blake Burke started on the right side of the runner of Stephen Milam, and the first base coach is seeing him on the right side. He's playing deep in the hole in first, like he's playing in the hole at third base, basically. And he's creeping over there as the pitch is being thrown and then booking it there. Perfect throw. And being a lefty, hand in the right place, tag in the right place, right time. It was perfect. It was textbook. You couldn't have taught it or done it any better than that.
He was on a dead sprint, I think, by the time hit the catcher's mitt. By the time the ball hit the catcher's mitt, he was on a dead sprint at first base, like you mentioned. This is a premeditated thing. Great play. And again, one of those game-changing plays, like you mentioned, momentum-changing. I mean, outside of that, man, like I'm not going to say the game was boring, but I was kind of sitting there and I was like, okay, this is a good old-fashioned pitcher's duel for a while. And I, it's funny. I throw that B word out, boring. When you look at the last couple of days, some of these 11-10, 12-11 finishes,
so clean,
it was a cleaner game. It wasn't quite that. I'll put you on the spot here, though, Harrison. In your heart of hearts, that ninth inning comes around. It's 4-3. Are you thinking to yourself, here we go again, we're about to go to extras, or LSU's about to walk it off?
What, the beginning of the bottom of the ninth or later?
Just when it was 4-3, 2 outs, man on second, did you think, all right, here we go. This is about to we're about to probably go to extras here. LSU's going to tie this thing up at least.
I was definitely leaning more so to that than it ending, with Tennessee winning like that. The drama that LSU's had in this tournament and the clutch hits and at-bats and plays, it was one of those things you're waiting for it to happen. It's the 8th inning. Is it the 9th inning? All right, we're 1 out in the 9th inning, 2 outs in the 9th inning. It's like, when is it going to happen? It wasn't an if, it felt like it was a win. And you and I talking off air and before texting, it was like, all right, well, here comes LSU. And it's like, all right, here we go. And Tennessee just slammed the door shut. And that's what they've done really well all year.
Harrison, again, I want to give credit to LSU. I know we're highlighting Tennessee, obviously, in the Tennessee Volunteers, SEC tournament champions. But this LSU team, I want to give them a lot of credit, not just for today. I thought Nate Ackenhausen looked fantastic. Their pitching staff, and outside of, what is it, Uloa? Is that how you say his last name? The second guy that came in.
With the mustache,
gave up,
too, yeah.
Yeah, gave up 3 earned. I mean, that was really the difference in the game. Thatcher Hurd gives up the other run. But, I mean, it was a pretty clean game. The guys that came in on both sides pitched pretty well. It was a well-defended game. I mean, each team had an error, but for the most part, a clean baseball game, which we had not seen all week. Give a lot of credit, Harrison, to this LSU team for even making it to this point. The run they went on in Hoover. I mean, again, I called a bit of a run, but this run was unlike anything. I mean, they just straight up won their way to Championship Sunday and then fall. You got to feel really, really good if you're LSU about what you accomplished this week. I think the positive strides you made, and for a team that came in realistically on the bubble, there's no more chatter of that. And all of a sudden, you and I have talked. God bless the team that's got them as a 2 or 3 seed. We don't just have to say that anymore. I think there's actually some juice in that conversation after their performance this week.
Yeah, Chris, absolutely. And the whole run was predicated on the starting pitching. And Gage Jump in the outing he gives you on the mound, and then the outing of Luke Holman, in game 2, gives you the mound. You use your 2 best guys in your bullpen for combined 3 innings. And that's the only pitchers out of the bullpen you use for 2 games. That just sets you up for success in Hoover. And the bats backing that up loudly every single game, and defense making fantastic plays as well. It was just a recipe for success from the start for them. And I mean, we saw Ackenhauser go. I think he only went, 3 innings or just under 3 innings, only 48 pitches, I think, or 50 pitches in the championship game. And he started in the World Series for LSU against Tennessee, and he shut him out. 6 hits, no earned, I think 5 or 6 Ks, no walks. I mean, I was after the first inning, he struck out the side. I'm sitting here thinking, is he going to just shut down Tennessee again like he did last year in the World Series? And it really felt like that. So, I mean, to have him be able to do that in championship, and I wish he could have gone a little bit longer. I know Jay Johnson spoke before the game or yesterday about, wanting to get guys working. Obviously, we want to win this game, but we want to set ourselves up for success come next week, Friday, when the tournament starts.
And Haverson, before we get out of here again, I do want to highlight, going back to Tennessee, I somehow missed this, by the way, the offensive performance. Inslee goes 4 for 4 with a ribby. He was dialed in. You think about it. Tennessee had 8 hits. He had half of them. And then, of course, the big swing of the bat, Billy Amick. I mean, that was the difference, Haverson. That was the difference. A 3-run home run. That was a towering shot off the bat of Billy Amick. And again, shows why you go in the transfer portal and go get the best guys, because Billy Amick, he was on Clemson's roster this time last year. Now he's hitting bombs for Tony Vitello. And again, a really special player. But, again, it was a multitude of things that led to Tennessee's win, and it was a fantastic week all week. They get the revenge on Vandy yesterday. But I keep going back to the pitching as a whole, the pitching depth. Haverson, we talked a lot about when you pick the winner of these tournaments, it's about pitching depth. And, I mean, Tennessee, time and time again, all year long, numbers don't lie. They got one of the best pitching staffs in the country. They showed that yet again. I mean, LSU had, 3 hits? I believe 3 hits in the 9th, and they had 5 hits total in this game.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
And the thing, that's with A.J. Russell going out after the first inning, I believe, which is
right.
one of the issues that he went to the bullpen and seemed fine. So hopefully he's able to go for next week. But he hasn't really pitched a ton this year, and he was their Friday night guy coming in.
Yeah.
I think it goes to even show how further impressive it is to not do it, to do it without your Friday night guy and A.J. Russell. And just, if he can come back and produce for them in the postseason, talk about, even more deadly than they already are. It's unbelievable. They have a clear path to make it to Omaha for sure.
A clear path indeed, Haverson. So again, congratulations to LSU for a fantastic week. What a magical week it was in Hoover. What a great SEC tournament it was. But at the end of the day, the Tennessee Volunteers are the SEC baseball tournament champions. More than likely, almost certainly going to be the number 1 overall seed. And it's going to be a lot of fun to see how the field of 64 shakes out after this. Yeah, go ahead.
Chris, if you're Tennessee, you're a little worried, though. The last number 1 overall seed to win the national championship, 1999, Miami University. It was – University.
I got a feeling – you know what, though? I got a feeling if anybody could do it, if anybody could snap that, it'd be Tony Vitello. You got to have a guy that's kind of wired a little weird.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But remember last year, LSU was number 1 for almost all the season.
Yeah.
Just at the end of the season, they not number 1.
LSU didn't even win the West last year, right? Was it Arkansas or was it A&M that won? Who won the West last year? Was it LSU?
I want to bet Arkansas just because they won it 5 the last 6
seasons. I don't think LSU won the West last year, if I recall correctly. I don't know.
Wake Forest jumped to the number 1 spot overall nationally. It was the number 1 national seed. And remember, they were 1 game away from playing in that championship best-of-3 series when they lost to LSU. So, if anyone can break the curse, this Tennessee team looks like it has all the pieces to do so. And the right head coach, Tony Vitello.
Indeed. And guys, we'll talk about that more tomorrow. Do not forget, we're going to be live as the Field of 64 immediately after the Field of 64 is released. Selection show takes place at noon. So I would imagine 1 o'clock, 1:30, something like that, Eastern time. You can expect us. We're going to react to all of the regionals, who's hosting, who's going where, all that. Of course, tonight, it is Sunday night as we're recording this, of course. Tonight, we're going to get regional host sites. We're not going to get Seeds affiliated. I messed up on that earlier. We're going to get Seeds affiliated, though. So we're getting regional host sites. We're going to know tonight who is hosting a regional in the SEC. Some very obvious, some maybe not so obvious. But again, tomorrow, we'll get the full bracket. Harrison and I right here will react. So again, make sure you stay tuned, you subscribe, you check us out via podcast. It'll all be there. But again, congratulations, the Tennessee Volunteers SEC tournament champions, second time in a 3-year span. Guys, again, make sure you like, subscribe on YouTube. Check us out via podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. We're, of course, all across social media as well as our website, SECUnfiltered.com. And guys, do not forget, we'll be live. Field of 64 reaction Monday afternoon. Check us out. And from then on, the road to Omaha will begin. For Harrison Fant, I'm Chris Phillips, guys. We appreciate you all tuning in, and we'll catch you on the other side.